Welcome to another episode of Diving Deeper with Bishop T.K. Roberts, where we dive deep into God's Word to discover the many wonders found here. Adonai, Lord Almighty, give us the spiritual eyes to see what you would show us and the spiritual ears to hear the truth of your Word. Welcome back to the study series that we're going through called Torah Pictures of Yeshua. This is part 2 of the series. In this series, we are following Yeshua's example when he was talking to his two disciples, his two Talmudim on the road to Emmaus, and beginning with Moses and with all the prophets, we are going to explore the things concerning himself, Yeshua, in all the scriptures. As we go through the Torah pictures of Yeshua, let's remember Yeshua's own words. Oh, and before I get into it, pause the video, go grab yourself something to write with and write on, because I'm going to give you Bible verses and scripture references that you're going to want to write down and go and study later. So, as I was saying, let's remember what Yeshua's own words were in John chapter 5, verse 37. And the Father who sent me, he has testified of me. You have neither heard his voice at any time, nor seen his form. Or what John said in his gospel. In John chapter 1:18, it is recorded, no one has seen God at any time. The only begotten, meaning preeminent God, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has explained him. In this part of the series, we are going to look at Yeshua as MALAKH YEHOVAH, or the Angel of Yehovah, or as in most of your Bibles, the Angel of the Lord. And we will start with the story of Moses and the burning bush.
I love you. It's too early for this.
I love in this movie, this animated movie called The Prince of Egypt, how they drop this little Easter egg of an allusion to Matthew 18:12, when Jesus said, "What do you think? If any man has 100 sheep and one of them has gone astray, does he not leave the 99 on the mountains and go and search for the one that he is straying?" I love that they drop that in here. I also love that they threw in this to visualize the understanding that the bush was burning, but it was not being consumed. The fire wasn't, it didn't eat things up as it burned. And the visualization they did here, fantastic job.
Here I am. Take the sandals from your feet. For the place on which you stand is holy ground. Who are you? I am that I am.
Achaya asher achaya.
I don't understand. I am the God of your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
You were born of my mother, Yehovah. You are our brother.
What do you want with me? I have seen the oppression of my people in Egypt, and have heard their cry.
Stop it! Leave that man alone!
So I have come down to deliver them out of slavery, and bring them to a good land. A land flowing with milk and honey. And so unto Pharaoh I shall send you. Me? Who am I to lead these people? They'll never believe me. They won't even listen. I shall teach you what to say.
Let my people go!
But I was their enemy. I was the prince of Egypt, the son of the man who slaughtered their children. You've chosen the wrong messenger. How can I even speak to these people?
Who made man's mouth? Who made the deaf, the mute, the seeing, or the blind? Did not I? Now go!
Moses, I shall be with you when you go to the king of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not listen. So I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders. Take the staff in your hand, Moses. With it, you shall do my wonders. I shall be with you, Moses.
Okay. Another thing in there that there's so much in that movie and so much in that scenes with allusions to other parts of the Bible. I just love it. So let's go to the place in the scriptures where this was recorded is Exodus chapter 3. And we're going to read verses 2 through 6. So Exodus chapter 3, verses 2 through 6. And it says, "The angel of Yehovah appeared to him in a blazing fire from the midst of the bush." Now, I want you to be, the language here in the translation is accurate and is specific. It says, the angel of Jehovah appeared to him in a blazing fire from amidst the bush, not as a blaming fire. As you see in most of these movies, it shows you the burning bush without, without consuming the bush. But it says here that he appeared in it. So I think that there was more here than just the burning bush. I think that Yeshua was in the bush, in the flames, and it alludes to what we saw in the story in Daniel of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace, and the fourth man in the fire with them. So anyway, the angel of Yehovah appeared to him in a blazing fire from the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush was burning with fire, yet the bush was not consumed. So Moses said, I must turn aside now and see this marvelous sight, why the bush is not burned up. When Jehovah saw that he turned aside to look, God called to him from the midst of the bush. So who was it that was in the bush? It said that the angel of the Lord, or the angel of Yehovah, MALAKH YEHOVAH, was in the bush. But then he says, when Jehovah saw and he turned aside to look, God called to him from the midst of the bush. So we see here that the angel, this is the first thing of seeing that the angel of the Lord, MALAKH YEHOVAH, is God himself. And Moses, and God said, Moses, Moses. And he said, here I am. Then he said, do not come near here. Remove your sandals from your feet, for the place in which you are standing is holy ground. He said also, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Then Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. So we see here in this encounter in the burning bush that the angel of Yehovah, who was Yehovah, appeared, and Moses saw him. The next place that we're going to go to look at the Torah pictures, or look at the angel of the Lord, is in Genesis chapter 16. Genesis chapter 16, verses 7 through 13. And this is the story of Sarai's maiden, her servant, Hagar. In Genesis 16, 1 through 13, we read, Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, and she had an Egyptian maid whose name was Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, Now behold, Jehovah has prevented me from bearing children. Please go into my maid. Perhaps I will obtain children through her. And Abram listened to the voice of Sarai. After Abram had lived 10 years in the land of Canaan, Abram's wife Sarai took Hagar, the Egyptian, her maid, and gave her to her husband Abram as his wife. He went in to Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her sight. And Sarai said to Abram, May the wrong done me be upon you. I gave my maid into your arms, but when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her sight. May Jehovah judge between you and me. But Abram said to Sarai, Behold, your maid is in your power. Do to her what is good in your sight. So Sarai treated her harshly and fled from her presence. Now, the angel of Yehovah, MALAKH YEHOVAH, found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. He said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, where have you come from, and where are you going? And she said, I am fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai. Then the angel of Yehovah said to her, return to your mistress and submit yourself to her authority. Moreover, the angel of Yehovah said to her, I will greatly multiply your descendants so that they will be too many to count. Oh, take note here. The angel of Yehovah is speaking of doing things that only God Yehovah himself could do. He will greatly multiply her descendants so that they will be too many to count. The angel of Yehovah said to her further, behold, you are with child, and you will bear a son, and you shall call his name Ishmael, because Yehovah has given heed to your affliction. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hands will be against everyone, and everyone's hands will be against him, and he will live to the east of all his brothers. And from that moment on, Ishmael has been a thorn in the side of God's covenant people and are what we call today Muslims. Then verse 13, then she called the name of Yehovah who spoke to her, you are a God who sees. That is the name El Roi. For she said, I have even remained alive after seeing him. So even Hagar here recognized that the MALAKH YEHOVAH, the angel of the Lord, was God himself. The next place that we're going to jump into, and I know I'm jumping from space to space, but I want you to see scripture after scripture that refers to the angel of the Lord, MALAKH YEHOVAH, the angel of Yehovah. So the next one we're jumping into is Genesis chapter 22, verses 11 and 12. Genesis chapter 22, verses 11 and 12. And there, in Genesis 22, we read, but the angel of Yehovah called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here I am. He said, do not stretch your hand against the lad, and do nothing to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. So you see, this is the story when God told Abraham to take his Isaac up to Mount Moriah, and he would provide a sacrifice. When we go start teaching through Genesis, we'll go into the deeper things of how this whole story is a huge shadow picture of Yeshua. But what I want to point out here is that it says the angel of the Lord called to him, and then it says, since you have not withheld your son from me. And the angel of the Lord didn't say, you didn't hold your son from Yehovah or from, my master or something like that. He says, you have not withheld your son from me. So again, the angel of the Lord here, the angel of the Lord, MALAKH YEHOVAH, is speaking as if he is God himself, being declarative that he, the one that they call the angel of the Lord, is Yehovah himself. All right. So as we're skipping through the Torah here and moving on, now we're going to jump into the book of Numbers, chapter 22. The book of Numbers, chapter 22, and this is the story of Balaam and the donkey. This is where next we're going to see the angel of the Lord. So in Numbers chapter 22, verses 21 through 35, we read, so Balaam rose in the morning and saddled his donkey and went with the leaders of Moab. But God was angry because he was going, and the angel of Yehovah took his stand in the way as an adversary against him. Now he was riding on his donkey, and his two servants were with him. When the donkey saw the angel of Yehovah standing in the way with his drawn sword, and I thought this is interesting, we see the angel of Yehovah, who is Yehovah, who I am declaring is Yeshua, is standing there with a drawn sword. All of us Templars, we like that. So we saw the angel of the Yehovah standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand. The donkey turned off from the way and went into the field. But Balaam struck the donkey to turn her back into the way. Then the angel of Yehovah stood in a narrow path of the vineyards, with a wall on this side and a wall on that side. When the donkey saw the angel of Yehovah, she pressed herself to the wall and pressed Balaam's foot against the wall. So he struck her again. The angel of Yehovah went further and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn to the right hand or to the left. When the donkey saw the angel of Yehovah, she lay down under Balaam. So Balaam was angry and struck the donkey with his stick. And Yehovah opened the mouth of the donkey. And she said to Balaam, "What have I done to you, that you have struck me these 3 times?" Then Balaam said to the donkey, "Because you have made a mockery of me. If there had been a sword in my hand, I would have killed you by now." I think it's kind of interesting that Balaam was so mad that he didn't even get surprised that the donkey was talking to him. He just went right on to his little tirade. "Because you had made a mockery of me. If there had been a sword in my hand, I would have killed you by now." The donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your donkey on which you have ridden all your life to this day? Have I ever been accustomed to do so to you?" And he said, "No." Then Yehovah opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of Yehovah standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand, and he bowed all the way to the ground. The angel of Yehovah said to him, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have come out as an adversary because your way was contrary to me." But the donkey saw me and turned aside from me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, I would surely have killed you just now and let her live. Balaam said to the angel of Yehovah, "I have sinned, for I did not know that you were standing in the way against me. Now then, if it is displeasing to you, I will turn back." But the angel of Yehovah said to Balaam, "Go with the men, but you shall speak only the words which I tell you." So Balaam went along with the leaders of Balak. So we saw here that the donkey first saw the angel of the Lord, and then Balaam himself saw the angel of the Lord, and he bowed down to him. And we see other places in scriptures where if it was another angel, if it was another messenger other than Yeshua himself, that the angel says, "Don't bow down to me. You don't worship me," right? So he allowed Balaam to bow down to him, and he says, "You are contrary to me." He didn't say, "You are contrary to Yehovah, you are contrary to God." He said, "You are contrary to me." Again, so we see the angel of Yehovah speaking as if he is Yehovah himself. The next place that we're going to jump into to look at the angel of the Lord is Judges 2, verses 1 through 5. Judges 2, verses 1 through 5. And we read there Speak to Israel at Bochim, and Bochim means weepers. Judges 2, 1 through 5. This is where the angel of the Lord speaks to Israel at Bochim. That's what I'm trying to say here. Judges 2, 1 through 5. Now the angel of Yehovah came up from Gilgal to Bochim, and he said, I brought you up out of Egypt and led you into the land. So first off, I want you to see here, it's the angel of the Lord speaking and saying, I brought you up out of the land of Egypt. So who was it that brought them up out of the land of Egypt? It was Yehovah. It was God. And so here we see that the angel of Yehovah, MALAKH YEHOVAH, speaking as if he is God himself. I brought you up out of the land of Egypt, and I led you into the land which I have sworn to your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you. And as for you, you shall make no covenant with the inhabitants of this land. You shall tear down their altars, but you have not obeyed me. What is this you have done? Therefore I also said, I will not drive them out before you, but they will become as thorns in your sides, and their gods will be a snare to you. When the angel of Yehovah spoke these words to all the sons of Israel, the people lifted up their voices and wept. So they named the place Bochim, meaning weepers, and there they sacrificed to Yehovah. So yet and again, we see the angel of Yehovah appearing so that the sons of Israel could see him and speak with them. And he spoke as Yehovah himself. The next place that we're going to jump into, so I'm just hopping from one set of scriptures to another, showing these different encounters with the angel of Yehovah, is Judges chapter 6. And here in Judges chapter 6, we see that the angel of Yehovah sat under an oak tree that was in Ophrah, and Gideon makes an offering to the angel of Yehovah, and the angel of Yehovah accepts it as if he is God himself. So Judges chapter 6, verses 11 through 23. Then the angel of Yehovah came and sat under the oak that was in Ophrah, which belonged to Joash the Abizurite, I butchered that one, as his son Gideon was beating out wheat in the winepress in order to save it from the Midianites. The angel of Yehovah appeared to him and said to him, so that he could be seen, Yehovah is with you, O valiant warrior. Then Gideon said to him, O my Yehovah, if Yehovah is with us, why then has all this happened to us? And where are all his miracles, which our fathers told us about, saying, did not Yehovah bring us up from Egypt? But now Yehovah has abandoned us and given us into the hands of Midian. Yehovah looked at him and said, Go in this your strength and deliver Israel from the hand of Midian. Have I not sent you? He said to him, O Yehovah, how shall I deliver Israel? Behold, my family is the least in Manasseh, and I am the youngest in my father's house. Well, this sounds like Moses, doesn't it? But Yehovah said to him, surely I will be with you, and you shall defeat Midian as one man. So Gideon said to him, if now I have found favor in your sight, then show me a sign that it is you who speak with me. Please do not depart from here until I come back to you and bring you out my offering and lay it before you. And he said, I will remain until you return. Then Gideon went in and prepared a young goat and unleavened bread from an ephah of flour. He put the meat in a basket and the broth in a pot, and he brought them out to him under the oak and presented them. The angel of God said to him, Take the meat and the unleavened bread and lay them on this rock and pour out the broth. And he did so. Then the angel of Yehovah put out the end of the staff that was in his hand and touched the meat and the unleavened bread, and fire sprang up from the rock and consumed the meat and the unleavened bread. Then the angel of Yehovah vanished from his sight. When Gideon saw that he was the angel of Yehovah, he said, Oh, alas, O Yehovah God, for now I have seen the angel of Yehovah face to face. Yehovah said to him, Peace to you. Do not fear. You shall not die. So I think it is apparent from the language here that Gideon knew that the angel of Yehovah that he was seeing, who had a staff that he used to point with, was Yehovah himself. He says, I have seen the angel of Yehovah face to face. And so he feared that he was going to die, because he knew that to see God in all his glory, to see Yehovah in all his glory, meant death. And yet he did, and he survived, and he was amazed. The next place we jump to is Judges 13, verses 3 through 22. Judges 13, verses 3 through 22. And this is a story of Manoach and his wife. So starting in verse 3, Then the angel of Yehovah appeared to the woman and said to her, Behold, now you are barren and have borne no children, but you shall conceive and give birth to a son. Now therefore, be careful, do not drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. For behold, you shall conceive and give birth to a son, and no razor shall come upon his head, for the boy shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines. When the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came to me, and his appearance was like the appearance of the angel of God, very awesome. And I did not ask him where he came from, nor did he tell me his name. But he told me, Behold, you shall conceive and give birth to a son, and now you shall not drink wine nor strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing, for the boy shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah entreated Yehovah and said, O Yehovah, please let the man of God whom you have sent come to us again, that he may teach us what to do for the boy who is to be born. So it's very obvious in here that the angel of the Lord appeared to them to be a man, because he prays to Yehovah to let the man return to him. In verse 9, God listened to the voice of Manoach, and the angel of God came again to the woman as she was sitting in the field. But Manoach, her husband, was not with her. So the woman ran quickly and told her husband, Behold, the man who came the other day has appeared to me. Then Manoach rose and followed his wife. And when he came to the man, he said to him, Are you the man who spoke to the woman? And he said, I am. Manoach said, Now when your words come to pass, what shall be the boy's mode of life and his vocation? So the angel of Yehovah said to Manoach, Let the woman pay attention to all that I said. She should not eat anything that comes from the vine, nor drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. Let her observe all that I commanded. Then Manoach said to the angel of Yehovah, Please let us detain you so that we may prepare a young goat for you. The angel of Yehovah said to Manoach, Though you detain me, I will not eat your food. But if you prepare a burnt offering, then offer it to Yehovah. For Manoach did not know that he was the angel of Yehovah. Manoach said to the angel of Yehovah, What is your name? So that when your words come to pass, we may honor you. But the angel of Yehovah said to him, Why do you ask my name, seeing it is wonderful? So Manoach took the young goat with the grain offering and offered it on the rock to Yehovah. And he performed wonders while Manoach and his wife looked on. For it came about when the flame went up from the altar towards heaven, that the angel of Yehovah ascended in the flame of the altar. When Manoach and his wife saw this, they fell on their faces to the ground. Now the angel of Yehovah did not appear to Manoach and his wife again. Then Manoach knew that he was the angel of Yehovah. So Manoach said to his wife, We shall surely die, for we have seen God. So Manoach and his wife, they both understood that to see the angel of Yehovah was to see Yehovah himself, to see God himself. Now we're going to jump into a little bit farther. This is a story where the angel of Yehovah, who is Yeshua, killed 70,000 Danites with a pestilence. And this is recorded in 2 Samuel 24:16 and 1 Chronicles 21, verses 11 through 14. And we're going to look at the as it's recorded in 1 Chronicles 21, 11 through 14. So Gad came to David and said to him, Thus says Yehovah, Take for yourself either 3 years of famine or 3 months to be swept away before your foes, while the sword of your enemies overtakes you, or else 3 days at the sword of Yehovah, even pestilence in the land, and the angel of Yehovah destroying throughout all the territory of Israel. Now, therefore, consider what answer I shall return to him who sent me. David said to Gad, I am in great distress. Please let me fall into the hand of Yehovah, for his mercies are very great. But do not let me fall into the hand of man. So Yehovah sent a pestilence on Israel. 70,000 men of Israel fell. So now we're starting to see some interesting things happen. We've seen the angel of Yehovah, who is Yeshua, carrying a sword, and in the story of the Exodus of Egypt, we saw him bring the pestilence of the 10 plagues, and here in this story we see Yeshua as the angel of Yehovah bringing a pestilence on the Danites, a tribe of Israel, and killing 70,000 men of that tribe. This is not the Yeshua that is normally taught in Sunday school. Now we jump to 1 Kings 19, verse 7. 1 Kings 19, verse 7. When the angel of Yehovah comes and touches Elijah or Eliyahu. So 1 Kings 19, verses 7 and 8. And we read, And the angel of Yehovah returned a second time and touched him and said, Get up, eat, for the way is too great for you. And he rose up and ate and drank and went in the power of that food 40 days and 40 nights to the mount of God, Horeb. So we see here in this little passage that the angel of the Lord came physically and touched him on his side, basically shook him and said, "You go eat," right? So we have a physical appearance of the angel of the Lord, who we now know is Jehovah God himself, who we know is Yeshua. A Christophany. Now, 1 Kings 19, verse 9. 1 Kings 19, verse 9. And he came there to the cave and lodged there. And behold, the word of Yehovah came to him and said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" So the word of Yehovah, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And here he came to him in physical form and asked the question, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" And then in 2 Kings, 2 Kings chapter 1, verse 3, 2 Kings chapter 1, verse 3, we see the angel of Yehovah speaking to Elijah again. So verse 3, 2 Kings chapter 1, verse 3, but the angel of Yehovah said to Elijah the Tishbite, "Arise and go up and meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say to them, Is it because there is no God in Israel that you are going to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron?" So again, an appearance of the angel of the Lord speaking to Isaiah. And then in 2 Kings 19:35. 2 Kings 19:35. And also recorded in Isaiah 37, verse 36. This is one of the passages that I point to when people say, "What would Jesus do?" So here in 2 Kings 19, chapter 19, verses 32 through 35, we read, "Therefore thus says Jehovah concerning the king of Assyria, he will not come to the city or shoot an arrow there, and he will not come before it with a shield or throw up a siege ramp against it. By the way that he came, by the same way he will return, and he shall not come to this city, declares Jehovah. For I will defend this city to save it for my own sake and for my servant David's sake." Now I want you to notice here, when God does things with Israel, and when he keeps his promises and his covenants, he's doing it for his own sake, not for their sake. Because they're just as bumbled up as we are, and they are stiff-necked people just as we are. And God does things for his name's sake and for his glory and not for ours. So verse 35, "Then it happened that night that the angel of Yehovah went out and struck 185,000 in the camp of the Assyrians. And when men arose early in the morning, behold, all of them were dead." So when people ask me, "Well, what would Jesus do?" I remind them that Jesus, Yeshua, as the MALAKH YEHOVAH, as the angel of the Lord, killed 185,000 Assyrians in a single night. Again, that's not the Yeshua, that's not the Jesus they're teaching you in Bibles, in Bible or in Sunday school. Our God is an awesome God to be feared and loved and revered. And when God is with you, there is none that can stand against you, and you are secured. But if you become an adversary of Yehovah, Oh, woe to you, because this is the power of our God, Yeshua. Then in Psalms 34, verse 7, we read, Psalms 34, verse 7, we read, the angel of Yehovah encamps around those who fear him. The the whole passage in context, Psalms 34, verses 4 through 9, I sought Yehovah, and he answered me and delivered me from all my fears. Then he looked to him, and they looked to him and were radiant, and their faces will never be ashamed. This poor man cried, and Yehovah heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of Yehovah encamps around those who fear him and rescues them. Who is this? Who is the one who brings salvation? Who is the one who rescues us? Is it not Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ? Verse 8, O taste and see that Yehovah is good. How blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. O fear Yehovah, you his saints. For those who fear him, there is no want. And that fear is not a terror. It is to fear in a reverent, awestruck way. And then in Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1, in Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1, we continue on. And the angel of Yehovah rebukes Satan in this. Think about Job chapter 1, verses 6 through 12, when the adversary, when the devil, when Satan comes before God, before his throne with the other Elohim or with the other angels. So here in Zechariah 3:1, we have the angel of Yehovah rebuking Satan. And we read certain verses 1 through 10, Zechariah chapter 3, verses 1 through 10. Then he showed me Joshua the priest standing before the angel of Yehovah, and Satan standing at his right hand to accuse him. Now that's pretty interesting. A pretty interesting visual there. Yehovah said to Satan, Yehovah rebuke you, Satan. Indeed, Yehovah, who has chosen Jerusalem, rebuke you. Is this not a brand plucked from the fire? Now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments and standing before the angel. He spoke and said to those who were standing before him, saying, remove the filthy garments from him. Again he said to him, see, I have taken your iniquity away from you and will clothe you with festal robes. So we see this is the angel of Yehovah speaking, and he says, Yehovah, the angel of Yehovah says, I have taken your iniquity, I have taken your iniquity. Wow, I'm having trouble with that word tonight. I have taken your iniquity away from you and will clothe you with festive robes. Again, the angel of the Lord making declarative statements that only God would make. Then I said, let them put a clean turban on his head. So they put a clean turban on his head and clothed him with garments, while the angel of Yehovah was standing by. So he was standing there and he was watching. And the angel of Yehovah admonished Joshua, saying, thus says Yehovah Zavaot, or the Lord of hosts, if you will walk in my ways, and if you will perform my service, then you will also govern my house and also have charge of my courts, and I will grant you free access among these who are standing here. And what he's seeing in this vision is that those standing here are the other B'nai Elohim, the children of Elohim in the heavenly places. Now listen, Joshua, the high priest, you and your friends who are sitting in front of you, indeed they are men who are a symbol For behold, I am going to bring my servant the branch. Now here's another reference to Christ incarnate. He was, one of his names was the branch. For behold, the stone that I have set before Yeshua, on one stone are 7 eyes. Behold, I will engrave an inscription on it, declares Jehovah Zavaot, or the Lord of hosts. And I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day. In that day, declares Jehovah Zavaot, every one of you will invite his neighbor to sit under his vine and under his fig tree. This one day speaks when the nation of Israel will see Yeshua as the Messiah, and as a nation, they are going to come to believe and accept Yeshua as the Messiah of Israel. Psalm 34, 4 through 9. Psalms 34, verses 4 through 9. I sought Jehovah, and he answered me, and delivered me from all my fears. They looked to him and were radiant, and their faces will never be ashamed. This poor man cried, O Jehovah, heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. We just read this. Then we go on. The angel of Yehovah encamps around those who fear him and rescues them. O taste and see that Jehovah is good. How blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. O fear Jehovah, you his saints, for to those who fear him there is no want. Now that we have gone through all these passages regarding MALAKH YEHOVAH, the angel of the Lord, the angel of Yehovah, we can clearly see that MALAKH YEHOVAH is Yehovah himself, and that he walked among men and was seen many times, and men were touched by him. The MALAKH YEHOVAH, he accepted worship, he accepted sacrifice, he spoke declaratively as God. And these people did not die. Now let's go back to the words of Yeshua and John again. So in this episode, where we started, this is where we're going to end. John, just to let it sink in, what we're talking about here and how amazing it is. John chapter 5, verse 37, and the Father who sent me, he testifies of me. And you have neither heard his voice at any time nor seen his form. And as John recorded, no one has seen God at any time. The only begotten God, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has explained him, or he has revealed him. So if no one has seen the Father at any time, but Yehovah was seen multiple times as MALAKH YEHOVAH, and it is Yeshua who reveals the Father, then MALAKH YEHOVAH is, without a doubt, a Christophany, a pre-incarnate manifestation of Yeshua HaMashiach, of Jesus the Christ. Now, and if you really want to get your mind blown, and I can probably do a study of this sometime, but I can make the argument that MALAKH YEHOVAH is a post-crucified, get this, a post-crucified and glorified appearance of Yeshua. Let me say it again. MALAKH YEHOVAH or the angel of the Lord, is a post-crucified and glorified appearance of Yeshua. Let that sink in. Bend your mind a little bit. You see, since the heavenly realm is outside of the physical time-space continuum, when Yeshua steps into the heavenly realm, he steps outside of time. and all time from the end to the beginning. Because remember, it says that God sees the end from the beginning. He can see all of it simultaneously. So as he steps out of time, he can then step back into time at any time and place he so chooses. Let that sink in as we close with this part of God's study of his magnificent character and word with a prayer. Father in heaven, Yehovah Elohim, Yeshua Adonai, we thank you for the many treasures and glories of yourself that you have placed in your word for us to explore and to discover and be amazed at. Give us the hearts and minds. Open those hearts and minds that we might perceive and understand just how awesome your glory is. And I know our minds are finite and we will never fully be able to understand your glory. I don't even believe that when we're in heaven with you, that we will be able to fully understand your glory. But oh, what a wonder it is to go through your word and discover the magnificence of who you are as you have revealed them in your holy scriptures. So give us that heart and that desire to dig deep into your word, to dive deep into your word, and see all that we can discover of you that we can. We praise your name. We lift you up, and we give you all the glory. Amen. And to my listeners, Yevarechecha Yehovah v'yishmerecha. May Yehovah bless you and keep you. Yair Yehovah panav alecha v'kunecha. May Yehovah lift his face to you, make his face to shine upon you, and be gracious to you. Yisa Yehovah panav alecha ve'yasem lecha shalom. May Yehovah, who is Yeshua, lift his countenance to you and give you and bring you peace this day and every day, a peace that surpasses all understandings, especially in this world as it goes crazy and we see the darkness comes. We need to be that salt and light and have that peace in you that surpasses human understanding, so that when people see us, they go, what is it that you have? We need what you have. Help us, save us, help us find that which will save us. We are the Coast Guard. We are the lifeguards who are helping people into the boat of salvation that is Yeshua. So be blessed. Go out and be that salt and light. God bless, and we'll see you next time with another episode of the Torah Pictures of Yeshua.